Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. I have said many times that you can do almost anything to politicians and they brush it off. They're so thick-skinned. You can call them names, you can insult them, you can call them all sorts of anything you like. You can tell them that they're wrong and they just ignore you. You can present them with facts and they will just change the facts. You can ask them hard questions and they'll answer completely different questions. There is nothing that you can do to politicians that upsets them. Except one thing. There is one overriding thing that all politicians suffer from. And that is, you must never, ever ridicule them. Because they have zero sense of humour. They take themselves so fantastically seriously that they just cannot abide anyone laughing at them. And of course, that in itself is very, very funny. So it is of no surprise whatsoever that the Greens and the SNP, all the Nats together, have condemned and moaned and said it was shocking and obviously politically biased for the BBC to show a sketch of Lorna Slater and basically lampooning her, sending her up, and it is quite right. And they're very angry about it. They're raging at it. Do you want to see it, children? Shall we? Are you sitting comfortably? Then we shall begin.
I'm Lorna Slater, Green Party Minister for Green Skills, Circular Economy, Biodiversity, Short-Haul Flights, and Maple Syrup. Join me for my new streaming series, Lorna Slater's Great Green Limousine Journeys, where I'll be changing my climate from Hollywood to Stretch Limo on a 3,000-mile taxpayer-funded journey around Scotland. The only thing I'm emitting is Michael Portillo energy. I'll be out and about the greenest greenery this countryside has to offer. We'll be stopping along the way to check out wind turbines, recycling banks, and Scotland's most northerly branch of Tim Hortons. Nothing boosts the circular economy like a good round donut. Limo Lorna, that's me,
There you go. I mean, I thought it was funny. I thought it got her spot on. A little bit of satirical piss taking, basically ridiculing her for the things she said and the things she's done. Now, things she's actually said and things she's actually done. It's not as though they're making anything up. And yet these mad extremists on the left absolutely loathe and hate it because they've got zero sense of humour. None at all. Anyway, we'll take a quick look at this article just to show how humorless these people are. So, humorless Nats rage at BBC Scotland's send-up of Limo Lorna in the new podcast sketch show. We've just seen, as you see, the video. The Scottish Greens Minister was mocked for her love of using taxpayer-funded limos and for being Canadian, but the Nats are absolutely raging at this harmless sketch. I'm not going to go through all of it because it's just too long and it's all much the same thing. But the sketch does include countless uses of the word "a," which is stereotypical Canadian insult. It also had some extra lines to her ministerial role by claiming she's also the Minister for Short-Haul Flights and for Maple Syrup. It claims she is set to host a new streaming series called Lorna Slater's Great Green Limousine Journey, which is a send-up of her frequent chauffeur-driven ministerial trips, including all the way to Mallaig and to Aberdeen. In fact, we can tell that one's a lie. She didn't take the trip to Aberdeen in the car. She went up by train to look virtuous by taking a train, but got the car to go up on its own with a driver, so she could drive around Aberdeen, and then sent the car back empty and took the train home. That's how bad she is. I mean, reality is worse than the actual send-up in the show. But politicians who are mocked, other politicians mocked in the series are Anna Sowell, Angela Rayner, people like that. But they really don't have an absolute clue, do they? They've got zero sense of humour. Pro-indie podcast Ungagged wrote, "What is this? It isn't even satire. Definitely not caricature. It just seems to be a weird character assassination based on nothing more than a strange kind of xenophobia and misinformation. It's awful." No, son, it's funny. funny. You see, when you're not an extreme left wanker, you still retain some sense of humour. And that is why you lot on the left lead such sad, empty, miserable, joyless lives. Because you can find nothing funny. And that is a very sad thing. Alina Whittam, another one, sad left-wing extremist. She's the drugs policy minister for Scotland, and you got to be honest, what a failure that is. Got a video on that later, hopefully, either today or possibly tomorrow. And she's also a Canadian, and she said it'd take off, eh? If you really want to satirise us Canadian hosers, you need a few lessons from Bob and Doug McKenzie. This is just pish. Oh, I see. She's gone Canadian, but she's speaking with a Scottish tongue now. If ever you hear the real Lorna Slater talk, it's a weird accent. Obviously Canadian, but trying her best to put this faux Scottish accent on. And it is just something else, isn't it? Pro-Skexit commentator Gary Hassan said, unless BBC Radio Scotland have done all this about all political parties in Scotland, which they have, he said this is very questionable. And even if they have, it's infantile, demeaning and ultimately adding nothing to creative public life. Oh, of course it is, you sad sack of absolute shit. And they're just going on moaning about it. Look, Green supporter Dylan Lewis Creaser added, absolutely awful bias from the BBC here. I will be making a complaint to Ofcom on this. Of course you are. And Ofcom will look at it and go, wanker, and throw it in the bin. It is not xenophobia. It is legitimate political satire based on things she has actually said and things she has actually done. They really are a boring bunch of joyless tosspots, aren't they? And I think they've got her to an absolute T. Anyway, I shall round up and come up. We'll finish the video. It doesn't need much more. Just goes to show how bad they are, those sad wankers. Now, I know it's telling that nobody actually asked Lorna Slater what she thought. And you can guarantee she'll have hated it. Because, you know, they absolutely loathe being ridiculed. Sad bunch, aren't they? Just absolutely typical sad. Anyway, it's not a bother. I don't care. I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been entertaining. I've certainly enjoyed the send-up. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, if you truly want to annoy a politician, laugh at them. Don't insult them. Just ridicule them and laugh at them. They absolutely hate it. Bye.